Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about EA. And if you're following my channel, then you know that I don't talk very positive about EA in most of my videos. But in this one, it's going to be a very positive one because as part of their recent report to the investors, EA has released a previously unseen release schedule for their upcoming games for this year, and it actually bears a few surprises. The first big one that stands out is that we're going to get Titanfall 2 together with Battlefield 1 in the third quarter of this year. And you know, people consider this as an announcement. Basically, it's all over the news portals. Everyone thinks that we're going to get the game this year. I personally think they're going to delay it, but I'm majorly excited for this, at least that they're trying to get it ready, because I was earliest expecting anything of Titanfall in like 2017 or something, probably not even early 2017. So I'm majorly excited about this, and I can't wait to see more of Titanfall 2 at E3. And they're definitely going to show gameplay, because if they want to launch the game in the third quarter of this year, they better be ready now, to show something. It is possible that we're only getting, let's say, part of the campaign, because they are doing a campaign this time around, and it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I think they hired the guy who wrote Modern Warfare 1, and he's now working for Respawn Entertainment. Now, I don't know if he's working on exactly this project, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see an epic campaign, and it's possible that they only show gameplay from that at this year's E3. But let's see. The other big news that we got is that in the fourth quarter of this year, we're going to get Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, that clashes a little bit with some information that we get from the MassEffect.com blog. And if you go there, they just recently, a few days ago, posted an additional entry where they give us a bit more information all around Mass Effect Andromeda. But they also mentioned that the game will ship in early 2017. So already the release schedule that comes from EA kind of says something else than Ubisoft say on their own blog. So it's already not entirely clear to what extent we can trust this release schedule. I personally could imagine that EA wants to impress their investors. They put all the releases a bit earlier and into this year, so they get a bit more money and everyone's happy, and then actually they're going to delay the games. I personally don't think that Titanfall is going to come the third quarter of this year. I just don't think so. But I'm obviously really hopeful, because if that would happen, that would be completely amazing. I can't wait for this game. I think it's now my officially most anticipated games. Speaking of most anticipated games, whoa, crazy segue right there. We're talking about Mass Effect Andromeda, because like I said, Ubisoft have released a blog entry on MassEffect.com that gives us additional information on Mass Effect Andromeda. And Mass Effect Andromeda and Titanfall 2 have one thing in common. We know very little about these games, so it is always awesome to get little chunks of information that helps us to get a better idea of what these games will be. So, three main things that they mention in this blog entry. The first thing is more freedom, right? So, what they say here, I'm quoting, "One of our biggest ambitions is to give players an unprecedented level of freedom for a Mass Effect experience, where you'll go, how you'll get there, and how you'll play." So, they're basically talking about more freedom for the players. I think that means in terms of moving around. I don't want to say they are aiming to create an open world game, but I could imagine that, for instance, you're on a big planet and you have two cities or key locations, and then you can either take this vehicle that you have in Mass Effect. Sorry, I don't know the name. People are going to finger point at me and say, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. But you can take the vehicle, go from place A to place B, or you can walk, right? And there's maybe a shortcut where you have to go through some valleys where there are enemies or whatever it is, right? So you can choose how you get there. Another thing that I really hope to see in terms of getting from A to B is space flight, right? Because in previous games, you always had like some kind of map, and then you navigated with your spaceship from A to B, and it did work, it didn't disturb the experience or break the game flow really, but it would be so much cooler if you could, let's say, for instance, approach planets, right? If you would have dogfights in space, elements of that, right? I don't want a space sim, but it would just be cool to have a dogfight and then approach a planet, land seamless on that planet, right? It would just create such another level of immersion. So I hope we get that. However, they mention nothing like that in this blog post. The second point in their list is called New Uncharted Worlds. Quoting here, "We're leaving the Milky Way behind and headed to Andromeda, where we'll meet new allies, confront new enemies, and explore fascinating new worlds." Yeah, I mean, that's not really news, right? That's cool and stuff, but we knew that you're going to go to a new galaxy. It feels like they're just filling the gaps here. Let's get to the next one. And that one is called The Next Great Mass Effect Experience. Mass Effect Andromeda will be the first Mass Effect game for today's consoles and the first built on the Frostbite engine. We're pushing technology to deliver visuals, story, and gameplay that have never been done in the franchise history. You know, if you follow my channel, you know I'm not the biggest fan of the Frostbite engine, but to be honest, it kind of had to be expected because most games these days, most AAA games coming from EA are based on the Frostbite engine. I really hope that Titanfall 2 is not, but I think they based it on the Valve engine. I can't recall the name right now, but obviously the reason why EA is putting all these games on the Frostbite engine is because they look fucking amazing, right? The Frostbite engine is such a beautiful engine, and if you just look at games like Battlefront, it just shows you the potential of that engine. It looks gorgeous, but in my personal opinion, it just doesn't feel right. You know, you can argue back and forth. Played 3-4 Battlefield games and none of them felt really right in terms of first-person shooter. I think the Frostbite engine works great for other games, like racing games are totally fine. It is just these games where you need this kind of zero input lag, where the controls have to be very direct. So I'm missing that a little bit with Frostbite-based shooters. But then again, Mass Effect most likely is just going to be a single-player game. So I guess for that it's fine. It's not a competitive shooter or anything. So it is fine. I'm sure the game is going to look great, going to be a great step up from the previous games. I would have loved if they put this on the Unreal Engine and just really demonstrate the power of the new Unreal Engine, but yeah, well, it leaves me a bit sad, but what can I do? Beyond that, there's not much in that article except that we can expect to see more at EA's press event, and then obviously it's going to ship in early 2017, and they mentioned that they're going to deliver amazing stories, amazing characters, and fun third-person shooter combat. So again, we kind of know nothing, but we are excited about this game. And yeah, and I'm just soaking up all these little details, and I can't wait to see what EA has cooking at this year's E3, because, I mean, they're doing their own event, right? They must have things to fill that space with, and it really looks like from that schedule that they have so much to show. There's also Mirror's Edge Catalyst, there's FIFA 17, the Madden game, NHL 17, then there's going to be a new NBA Live, like I said, Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1. People are going to queue forever to get their hands on these games. It's going to be crazy. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. What is your game that you want to play most coming from EA? Any of the ones that are listed here, or maybe one that I forgot? I'm sure there are many more games that they have to show, but this is just kind of referring to this release schedule they showed. Anyway guys, take care. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe to all the things, you know, this channel. Anyway, I see you next time. I'm out. Bye.